morning. Good morning, we're live. Come find us. We are on Facebook Live, getting ready for our lesson for today. We are kind of switching things up. So come find us. We're live. Send us a little comment. Mr. Joey and Mark will tell me who's there so I can say hi. Let's see if Sophia gets on first. Oh,
Alicia's there.
hi, Alicia. Sophia made it. Sophia, you're like third day in a row. First one on there.
Is Casey not?
And I assume Casey's on there too. Casey's probably got more schoolwork to do than Sophia. So let's see if Emily gets on, Nick gets on. Who else do I usually see right away? Cora and Sunny.
Brandon's there.
Hi, Brandon. Yeah, Brandon's usually on pretty fast. I think, Brandon, you'll like we're doing some op art today. So kind of switched our projects around. Of course, you all don't have any idea what our projects were. I kind of switched them around because we're doing something a little different this week and switching something to next week that we were going to do. So I'm over here just rearranging and you have no idea. So we got about a dozen of you on. We're going to give a few more minutes, see who else gets there.
Jackson, Madison.
Hi, Jackson. Hi, Madison. Those are two new kids I get to meet someday.
Cora and Sunny.
Sunny's on. Cora. I see Sunny and Cora every summer. Hopefully we'll get to see each other this summer. We might have to be doing summer camps later in the summer, but we're hoping. So we'll cross our fingers.
Ethan and Emily.
Peyton? Nope. Emily? Is Emily there? Hi, Emily.
Ethan and Emily. EI.
Oh, Eaton's on. Hi, Eaton.
Lydia and
Eaton
Patrick.
usually comes to class here at the studio, and his little sister Emily. Hi, Emily.
Cora and Sunny.
And Cora and Sunny are there.
Lydia and
Olivia,
Patrick.
Julie.
Hi, Lydia. Hi, Patrick.
Olivia, Julie.
Hi, Julie. Julia. Olivia. Ella.
Uh-huh. Ava.
Someday, Olivia, someday we are going to find the picture we have of your big sister Ella when she was younger than you, probably close to Julia's age. And we have a picture of Ella, and she made a kangaroo with, I think we used charcoal. You'll have to ask Ella. I think it was charcoal. And we took a picture of Ella holding her kangaroo that she made with charcoal, and it was such a cute picture. We used to use it in all our ads when we first opened the studio. And I think she was maybe just about Julia's age. So Mr. Mark's looking for the picture. We're going to put it up one morning, Olivia, so you can see Ella as little as Julia, because I'm sure you wouldn't remember Ella as little as Julia. So we are doing this very cool op art today. I think you'll like it. So we're going to see if we got most people on. Who am I usually conscious? I saw Lydia and Patrick, right? Did we see Emily? No Emily yet? Oh, is Nick come on? Sometimes Nick has schoolwork he has to. Let's see, who else do we usually watch for? Do we have Hank out there? Or the Hendrons? I saw the two cutest girls I'm dying to meet. Their last name's Hendry. I remember when their mom came to pick up bags on Saturday. It was at one of our zooey hectic times in here, and your mom was standing in the parking lot, and I was going, Hendry, we need two for Hendry. So there's two very cute little girls out there. They posted their pictures yesterday of their sunflower and their painting.
Julia Lynch, not her Julia. Jaffe Hart.
Okay. How are we doing, Mr. Joey?
Wesley's there. You got 15.
We're going to give everybody just a couple more minutes, and then here I'll show you what we're going to do today. We are doing some op art today. Those of you that have been here for a long time with us, I think our very first week we were on, we did a project that was called op art. And op art is short for optical illusion. And I don't know if my picture looks as good as yours is going to look. I'm not too pleased with it yet.
It looks good on
Oh,
screen.
Mark
That's
says
why I
it
just
looks
folded.
better on screen than it does in person. This is called op art because when you look at my picture, it kind of looks like I've got a checkered beach ball on top of a flat checkered tablecloth, doesn't it?
There's Nick.
Oh, hi, Nick. We're going to do an op art. So I think yours is going to turn out better than mine, but I'm going to show you how to do this because it's all drawn flat on my piece of paper. There's not really a ball sitting on top of my piece of paper. And it kind of looks, by tricking the eye with some shading and some highlighting that we're going to do, it kind of makes you feel like there's a ball sitting on my piece of paper, doesn't it? Kind of looks like there's a ball there. So optical illusions are fun to do because you can draw them absolutely flat and with a little bit of shading and a little bit of highlighting. We've got a little highlight in the center here. We've got some shading on the outside, so I'm going to show you how to do this. So this is an easy project we're going to do today, except it's drawing a checkerboard. And those of you that have been at the studio before with me know how much I love to do checkerboards. Oh, that's who I haven't seen sign on. Is Bay there? Bay and Madison and Finley and Anna.
Haven't seen them this morning.
Bay will laugh while I do my project today. I tried very hard. I think I colored this whole checkerboard without making a mistake. Checkerboards are fun. They're very simple. You draw, every other box gets colored in. The next line is the opposite of every other box. Then you go back. And I love drawing checkerboards. And I draw checkerboards that are squiggly checkerboards and slanted checkerboards and all kinds of weird looking checkerboards. And usually when I start coloring in my boxes, I always end up making a mistake.
There's Bay.
There's Bay. Bay, we're doing a checkerboard today. I
And
figured you'd like that.
Madison and
So we are going to do this checkerboard, but this checkerboard is going to turn into an optical illusion so it looks like a ball is sitting on top of our checkerboard. So what you're going to need is find one of your pieces of white paper today, okay? And we're going to draw a perfect circle in the middle of your paper. So I got a cereal bowl, and I'm thinking most people's cereal bowls are probably a good size. This is how I drew my circle in the middle with my cereal bowl. So see how big my bowl is next to my piece of paper? Go find yourself a bowl. Cereal bowls should work good unless you have like gigantic, Jack and the Beanstalk size cereal bowls. Find yourself a cereal bowl, or like a Tupperware bowl might work about this size. Something round. So maybe a dessert plate if you don't have bowls or all the bowls are in the dishwasher. Something that's going to fill your page. We want to have whatever circle you find to trace around, you want it to leave enough space on both sides. Top and bottom will have lots of space on, but we want a little bit of space on both sides. See how much space gets left on my page here? So find yourself a bowl that leaves this much space, okay? We don't want the bowl to go all the way to the sides of the paper. So you gotta find a bowl or something that makes a circle. Tupperware, cereal bowl, dessert plate. The glasses like we used yesterday to make our circle, those would be a little too small. So find yourself a bowl, something to make a circle with, get your white piece of paper, and then you need a pencil today and probably your eraser. Okay, and your Sharpie out of your bag. Everybody should have a Sharpie. That's what we're going to use to make our black. We're going to use the pencil not only to draw it, but we're also going to use the pencil to do some shading. And then we're going to use something white. Those of you that have colored pencils, you have a white colored pencil from last week. I think we sent colored pencils out last week. If you don't have colored pencils, you could use your white from the set of oil pastels that were in this week's bag. So there was a white oil pastel in there, or white pencil. If you've got white chalk at home, you could even use white chalk. So at the very end, that's going to be the last thing we do. We're going to use something white. So your colored pencil, or your oil pastel, or your chalk. Okay? So round those things up. Your white piece of paper, one of the pieces of white piece of paper is what we're going to use today for our project. So get your white paper, get your pencil and eraser. Go ahead and find your something white. We won't need that till the very end. But we need to start with your circle. So as soon as you got your cereal bowl or dessert plate or lunch plate or Tupperware, whatever you're going to find. Give us some thumbs up. Let us know that you're ready. I'm going to have Mr. Joey move the camera in here. And I need a piece of paper. Okay. And Mr. Joey, I don't want to bump his camera, which I'm doing already, so I'm going to move my stool a little bit. Yes, mixed media, Joey. You got to fold it before you tear it out. Okay, I've got my project here we're going to do. And I think yours is going to turn out better than mine. I'm hoping my second one I do with you is going to look better than my first one. I wasn't real pleased with my first one here, and I think I know some things I'm going to do different with you, so ours are going to look better. So I'm going to put, this is what our project is, except ours we're going to do better. We're going to do a better job with ours. So, Mr. Joey's getting me a piece of paper. I forgot to get an extra piece of paper here so I could start with you. But I got my pencil and I've got my cereal bowl here. I'm going to put my white pencil up there. My Sharpie up there. We got a piece of paper, Mr. Joey. I'll trade you. You can hand that to Nana. Okay. I got my piece of paper here. And let's see if I'm lined up right for Mr. Joey with the camera. Is this good? Okay. Mr. Joey's going to pull the camera in so you'll be able to see where we're going to put our lines. And do we have a lot of thumbs up? Did everybody find their circle to use? We can put it right down in the middle of the paper. Doesn't have to be exact. You just want to make sure you got some space on both sides. So we'll try to make kind of even space on both sides here. So we got a little bit of space here and we got a little bit of space here. Does that look good? Oh, Mr. Joey wants it to be perfect, so he moved my circle a little bit. You got your circles on your paper? Mr. Joey's a perfectionist. Those of you that have seen him here have seen him painting on the easel, and you know how long it takes him to paint a painting. Okay, are we ready to draw a circle? If you got your circle laid down here, turn it upside down so our big circle part's down here. You're going to hold on to it with one hand and take your pencil. In the line we draw around our cereal bowl, you can press hard because as you see, we're actually going to see the edge of that cereal bowl with our pencil. That'll be a pencil line we don't erase. So you can press kind of hard with this line. We want to trace all the way around your circle. Okay, that's all we're going to need the circle for. You can get rid of your cereal bowl so we don't knock it off the table. And our paper looks like that. Now, oh, Mr. Joey didn't give me my ruler. I'm going to keep Mr. Joey busy today. I need a ruler, Joey. Now, if you don't have a ruler at home, you can use anything that's got a straight edge to it because we don't really have to measure so much as we just have to draw some straight lines. So, if you've got a ruler at home, that's great. If you have anything that's kind of stiff, that you can draw along the straight edge with, that's good. You could take, some of you might have some nice stiff cardboard on the back of where we clipped all your papers. We were kind of running short on cardboard this past weekend, so some of you might have some pretty wimpy cardboard that wouldn't be easy to draw with the edge of it. But you could take one of your other papers off the clipboard and you could use the edge of a paper to draw, okay? So the first thing we're going to do to make our op art here, our optical illusion, is we're going to draw a line right through the middle of our circle going one way, and then we're going to draw a line through the middle going this way. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're not going to sit and measure it, but I'm going to kind of look for the middle of my circle with my finger. So if you kind of find the middle of your circle with your finger, and that, to me, looks kind of the middle of the circle. What do you think?
She doesn't need to be distracted.
So I'm going to put my ruler down and draw a line right through the middle of my circle here. This is going to be a straight line. The other lines in my circle are going to be a little different. But right now I'm just going to draw a straight line through the middle. Okay? That's pretty much in the middle. Let's see how good I was. not perfect, but pretty close. Now, I want to find the middle going this way. So I'm going to put my ruler down. What do you think? About the middle. Joey says this way. Okay, so I'm going to lay my ruler down. Now, I don't want to put it this way. I don't want to put it this way. I want it to go straight across. So I'm going to make a perfect little corner here. So I'm going to draw my line across the middle. And did you notice I drew my lines kind of overlapping out the sides, didn't I? I got a pretty dirty ruler here, Joey. Okay, so we got a line here, we got a line here. How are you doing? Joey's going to get me a cleaner ruler. We'll see if this one works better. Okay, so I got my circle is divided into quarters. See, we'll do math. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got quarters, like we just cut a pizza pie into some really big slices, didn't we? Okay, next thing we're going to do is draw some straight lines around it. We're actually going to use our straight edge, whether it's your piece of paper or your cardboard or your ruler. We're going to draw a border around our ball in the middle. Okay, so the way we're going to do that is to take your straight edge and we're going to put it right across the bottom of the circle. Okay, we want it parallel to this line. We don't want it like this, don't want it like this. We want it to go straight across, and our goal is that when I draw a line, it's going to bump right up against the edge of my circle on the bottom here. So I want to put a line right against this point on the circle. So I'm going to take my straight edge and I'm going to make it parallel, the same like this one, right down here along the edge of the circle. Okay, so you got your line lined up here, so it's parallel to this line, and it's going to go right at the edge of the circle. I'm going to draw a line right across there. Are my lines dark enough that you all can see? Okay, I'm not pressing really hard on these lines because if I make a mistake and I want to move the line a little bit, it'll be easier to erase. But you want to make this line go right up against the bottom of the circle. We're going to do that at all 4 of those points. Wherever our line came, I'm going to put a line right straight along here. It's going to run right up against that point on the circle, so this line's parallel to this line. See, you didn't know you were going to do so much math today, did you? Okay, so I'm going to put a line along here. Okay, so got one here, I got one here. We're like boxing in our circle here. Just going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to line my ruler up so it goes right against the circle there. Going to make sure my ruler's kind of parallel to this line. I don't want to be too wonky out of shape. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to put my line right along there. And then I got one more side. I got a line on this side, this side, this side. I'm going to turn my paper around so it's easier for me. I'm going to put a line right over here on this side. Now, you know, a couple ways I can make sure it's parallel. I can kind of eyeball it. I can look and go, okay, that's kind of the same way. But look, I can also look at this edge of my paper. See how much space I've got here and see how much space I got here? I should have about an even amount of space. So I can kind of line my ruler up here with the edge of my paper. I should have kind of an even little overlap of paper there. And let's see, am I right along my circle there? It looks like it. So I'll make my pencil line go there. Okay? So have you got a box all the way around your circle? See my nice box? I got a big smudge here from my ruler. That bothers me, so I'm going to erase it. Okay. Now, before we erase all these lines way out here, because you can tell with my box here, I don't have lines all the way out to the side. That would just make too much coloring. You can make yours go all the way to the edge. That's going to be a lot of checkerboards to color in. So I'm going to keep mine a little smaller just so I can finish with you today. But here's the edge of my circle. So this is that line I just drew right up against my circle. So I want to have at least one block, one checkerboard block past my circle. Okay, so I'm going to take my ruler And I'm going to start where I started here. I drew a line that way. I'm going to move my ruler. I'm going to make some boxes just a little bigger than that one. That one has a lot of tiny little boxes for a checkerboard, doesn't it? Which takes a really long time to color in all those boxes. So I'm going to make my boxes a little bigger. See, I left this much space in between my boxes. I'm going to make a little bigger space. So I want to come where we first made our box around the circle. I want to come out and make one more row. So I'm going to lay my ruler down. It's parallel with the first line I drew. I got about the right amount of space on that side of it. I'm going to make a line out here. Okay? So I added a second line. It's almost like we're making a second box. I'm going to come over here on this side. I'm going to do the same thing. Make a second box here. I'm going to turn my paper and make a second box over here. I want to leave about the same amount of space. See my space here? I want about the same amount of space. I'm going to try to do the same amount of space. My sides are a little skinnier because I didn't have enough space. I'm going to draw another line here. You can keep turning your paper to make it easy. And I'm going to put one more line over here. Now, do you notice how the line I made here didn't come quite so far? I had to make that line a little farther because I want my lines to all meet. Okay? So I've got a box, a row that I'll be able to make into checkerboards all the way around the outside of my circle. Now, like I said, you could make your lines go all the way to the edge and color all this in with checkerboard if you want to. Just so I don't get confused, I'm going to erase because I'm not going to go all the way to the edge. So I'm going to erase my extra lines there that go past where I want them to. Just because sometimes I get confused when I'm doing a checkerboard. And I get confused enough when my lines are in the right places. So this is going to help me a little bit not to have extra lines. So I'm going to erase my line there and there. Now, do you see my nice, neat little box here? There we go. Now I've got this nice, neat little box around my circle. It just made a little border around here. Doesn't look much like a checkerboard yet, does it? Here's how we're going to make it look like a checkerboard. I'm going to start by filling in lines that go across it this way. To make a checkerboard, we got to put a bunch of lines this way, and then we crisscross them with lines this way, right? And that's how we make a checkerboard. And the lines always meet at these nice 90-degree corners. That makes a really square checkerboard. So we need to add some more lines going this way, right? I've got one line here, but then I have a big gap till I get another line. Then I got another big gap till I get another line. Then I've got my next line in the right place. So I need to add a few more lines in here, don't I? So what I'm going to do is I've got that much space. I kind of want my lines to be about the same. So if I divide it in half, that's going to give me a couple big squares, which might be what I need to do. If I divide it in thirds, they're going to get kind of small. What do you think, Mr. Joey? Just divide it in half. We need to add some extra lines in here to make our checkerboard. Waiting for Mr. Joey to give me an opinion, and he's not answering me.
I do thirds.
He says to do thirds.
Otherwise, you just get one line.
Yeah, see, if I drew one line here, I'd have a little bit bigger space, but it's not going to give me very many checkerboards, is it? So I'm going to take my space in here. Instead of just putting one more line in there, I'm going to put two. So I'm going to divide this space in thirds. Mr. Joey's told me to wait a minute.
Remember, there's a bigger gap here than there and there.
Okay, so what we're going to do, Mr. Joey's trying to make sure that mine turns out better than the first one I did. So come back here to the middle. Did you find the middle of your circle? I don't mean to get complicated. Okay, so find the middle of your circle. Let's put our straight edge down, and we're going to make a little bit bigger line right here. Let's leave about that much space. Okay, now we want this line to be parallel with this one. Okay, but here's the key. Look at my lines on the inside of my ball. They're what I call contour lines. They're not straight inside the ball, are they? They curve a little bit because the surface of my ball curves. So when we draw this lines to divide out the rest of our checkerboard here, they're going to be straight with my ruler until I bump into the circle. When I bump into the circle, I'm going to jump across and finish the straight line on the other side. So put your ruler down here. Leave a little bit of space from the middle.
I'll make a line in the middle. That's going to make it in the middle of your side.
Oh, Mr. Joey says I need to move it this way a little bit.
To do thirds.
Okay, we're going to do thirds. Mr. Joey's getting picky on me here. So if it doesn't turn out, we can blame Mr. Joey. Okay, so you got your line ready to go? What we're going to do is we're going to start out here at the edge of our border that we made. And I'm going to draw my line, but when I bump into the circle, I'm going to stop. Okay? When you bump into your circle, stop. Pick your pencil up, come across, across, across to the other side of the circle, and then make the rest of your line. See how my line bumped, jumped, and then finished on this side. Okay? So we're going to do that with all our lines inside the circle. Now I got to come over and put a line in between those two. So put my ruler down here. I'm kind of making sure it's straight. See how it's parallel to this line and it's kind of parallel to that one. I'm going to start out here at the edge of my border. And I'm going to draw a line until I bump into the circle. Lift your pencil up. Go across, 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 across. Here I'm outside my circle and I can finish my border over here. So we got another line that comes, bumps into the circle, jumps over it, and finishes on the other side. Now I've got starting to get checkerboards, so let's do it on the other side. Oops, my line kind of disappeared right there. Okay, so now we want to do this on the other side. We divided this way on this side, we're going to go on this side. Just going to lay my ruler down over here. So you want to be about the same distance you made here over here. No, Mr. Joey wants me to go this way. I want to go this way. Okay. Now remember, we're going to start out here at the edge of our border. When we bump into the circle, stop. Lift your pencil up. Go across the circle with your pencil up. Put it down on the other side of the circle and finish your line. And then we got space to do one more in here. Okay, so hold your straight edge here. Start out here at the edge of your border. Draw your line till you bump into the circle. Pick your pencil up as you go across the circle. Pencil up, pencil up. Put it back down on the other side of the circle and come to the edge of the border. Now I've got all these nice rows going this way, right? How we doing? Everybody got their rows in? Give us a few thumbs up because we don't want to get too far ahead of each other. This is the time-consuming part of making op art. When you're doing the optical illusion, we want to kind of make sure our lines get in the right places because that helps create the illusion. We're going to have a ball in the middle of our paper. Okay, so have we got lines going this way, Mr. Joey? Did you guys give us some thumbs up? Everybody kind of getting to this point. And remember, if you aren't to this point and you want to just watch and learn what I'm telling you and then go back because the lesson goes up as a video, you can go back and pull that video up and you can stop and start it and pause it while you listen to me tell you what to do, and then you don't have to worry about going too fast, okay? Bay knows when I go too fast coloring in a checkerboard, that's when I mess it up. Okay, so we ready to put the lines going the other direction? I'm going to turn my paper. We want to do our lines going this way. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to start, here's my middle line. I'm going to put my ruler down. I want my straight line to be parallel with this, so I don't want to put it down like this. And again, we're just going to make the lines on the outsides of our circle. So I'm going to put my ruler down here. I'm going to start at the outside edge of my border here. I'm going to draw a line until it bumps into the circle. When you bump into your circle, stop. Pick your pencil up. Come over here to the other side of the circle and finish the line. Then we're going to put one more line in between here. So I'm going to put my straight edge down. I can just about line up my straight edge with my line there. I'm going to do the same thing. Will that get too out of whack, Miss Joe? Move it over a little bit. I'm going to start at the outside of my border here. Draw my line till it bumps into the circle. Lift your pencil up, jump over the circle, finish on the other side of the circle. So I got lines. Now I need to add a few more in here, right? See how I'm starting to get all these checkerboards here on the outside of my circle? Wait till I tell you what we're going to do on the inside of the circle. Okay, so I need to divide up this space with two more lines. So I'm going to put my straight edge down like that. Okay, hold on to your straight edge. Start at the outside of our border. When you bump into the circle, pick your pencil up. Go across the circle, down on the other side. And then I got room for one more line here. One more line. Start at the outside of the border. When I bump into the circle, stop. Lift your pencil up. Come across to the other side of the circle and finish your line. There we go. That's all I'm going to need my straight edge for, because we still got to connect these checkerboards, but we got to imagine this was one of those red and white checkered picnic tablecloths. You know, you've seen them with the red and white checkers. Imagine that you had laid that flat on the table, so all our boxes would have been straight and flat. Then imagine somebody put half of a beach ball underneath the tablecloth. So the tablecloth would come straight, but then it's going to zoom over the ball. And the surface of the ball, the lines aren't going to be straight. They're going to be a little bit curved because they're following the contour of our beach ball. These inside lines on a shape are called our contour lines. So we're going to start from the middle of our beach ball, and we're going to move out, and we're going to connect this line that stopped when it bumped into the beach ball, finished on this side. We're going to connect this point to this point, but instead of drawing a straight line, which would make it look like we deflated our basketball and squashed it flat, we're going to make it curve a little bit. Now it's going to curve this way. See the curve on the outside of the beach ball here? We're curving the same direction. We're not going to curve quite that round because that's the outside of the ball. So as we come in, it's going to curve a lot, and then it's going to curve a little less. So let's start with this one closest to the edge of the circle. We're going to connect this point. Oh, look, I even have another point. Let's start. This would be our close. Oh, look, we got one really close right here. What do you think, Mr. Joey? Should we start making curves from the middle and go out, or start from the outside and go in? I'm making Mr. Joey work today. Okay, Mr. Joey says let's start on the inside and move towards the outside. So find your middle. This is our middle, right, where we have the two straight lines. And we're going to go to the first one on this side. We're going to connect this point to this point. But instead of making a straight line, we're going to make it curve. Mr. Joey wants us to curve a lot. Right, Mr. Joey? Okay.
Yeah, your biggest curve is your one closest to the center.
Okay. Okay, so start up here. We're going to make like a big smile. So we're going to go from this point. We're going to make a big smile, and then it's going to start curving back up to this point. What do you think, Mr. Joey?
And then this one's a little less of a curve.
Then this one's going to be a little less of a curve. Don't smile quite so much. Go to your next line. We're going to connect this line to this one. We're gonna smile, but not quite so much. So draw a line here, right to that line. Now, I kind of didn't quite get there, so I'm gonna move my line out a little bit. There you go. There we go. We want these smiley lines to kind of match. So we got a curve here. We got another curve here. It's kind of like a copycat curve. And then I still got a line here I need to connect, don't I? So I'm gonna come around and connect that. Oops, my pencils. Right down to that line. And then I actually am gonna see a little sliver of a curve right here. My pencil's not working, Mr. Joey.
Why would you see one there?
There we go. What do you think?
Why would you see one there?
Because I got a line here to here.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
No, your line's down here.
Oh, Mr. Joey's right. Good thing we got Mr. Joey today. We're connecting these vertical lines, not these horizontal lines. So Mr. Joey's right. I don't want to put a curve there. Okay, so we just see the edge of our circle out here. Okay, this is why. There we go. Okay, so we got one curve here. You sure I wanted that curved? I was going to take a little of that curve out of there. Let's make this one not quite so curved. I think I'll like that better. Mr. Joey might not like it. So if it doesn't turn out as nice, Mr. Joey will say it's my fault because I made my curve less curvy.
Well, it's
Okay.
more curved than that, so.
Okay, so we got a curve, we got a curve, and we got a curve.
You
Oh, this curve's wrong too, Mr. Joey, isn't it? I'm
There's only a
connecting.
curve from here and here.
We only have two vertical lines. So take this curve out too. Okay. See, this should make you guys feel better. If you're making mistakes, you can tell how many mistakes Miss Ginny always makes too. But it's going to be so cool when we finish. Okay, so we're only connecting these two vertical lines. This vertical line's on the outside of my circle, isn't it?
That's horizontal to the camera.
Oh, yeah, I might be confusing you. This line that looks horizontal the way you're looking at it is on the outside of my circle, right? This is the middle line. So I only have this line and this line in between here and the outside of my circle. I'm just connecting these two. So I made one smiley face, two smiley face. Okay. Have I confused you thoroughly? Don't worry about it. We'll get it. So now on this side of the circle, I need to make a couple more horizontal lines. They're horizontal to you. I'm sorry, I've been saying vertical because my paper's turned. Okay, so here's our middle line that we put on in the beginning. Here's the outside line of the circle. Here's my outside horizontal line. Here's my inside horizontal line. I've got two lines in here that we're going to connect. So I'm going to make a curve, go from here to here. So I want to go from here to here. That's not very curvy, is it? Let's make it a little curvier.
It's like a curve that got squished on one side.
Yeah, there we go. Is that better, Mr. Joey? Mr. Joey's going to keep me in line today. Okay. Is that a better curve? I like that better. So we're curving this way now. If you're looking at it from the camera, we're making a frown. So we went from this line to this line. Okay. Now I need to connect one more. I have one here and one here. So I'm going to get one here and one here. I'm going to connect this horizontal line to this one. So we're going to come right along here and right down to here. Okay. So we got, looks like we have horizontal stripes on our beach ball right now, right? You guys got your horizontal stripes on? Okay. I'm getting picky with my lines here. I'm going to make that one go a little better like that. Okay, you got them where you like them. You erased all those extra lines that don't make any sense. Okay, so we got 2 skinny stripes here, big wide stripes in the middle, and 2 skinnier stripes here. And my ball's already starting to look a little round. Now turn your paper, because we're going to connect these other lines. And we got 2 lines on each side we're going to connect. Here's my line on the outside of the beach ball. Here's my middle line, right? So I'm going to connect this line and this line. But again, we're not going to connect it with a straight line because that will look like we stepped on our beach ball. So we're going to make a little bit of a curve from here to here. So again, let's make a smiley face. I'm going to kind of figure out where I want to put it. Let's see. That look like a good smiley face?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of like that. So you can sketch really lightly till you get your curve the way you want it. And we can come in and make a line right along there. So we connected this point to this point. Get my little extra lines out there. Okay, did you connect your 2 points? The point didn't connect exactly right there. Okay, you got your points connected? Whoops. Okay, now we're going to connect this last one over here. So we're making another curve just like this one. I'm going to do it lightly to make sure I get it connecting to the point. Sometimes it's easier to start from this point, go towards the middle with curve, start from this point, go towards the middle with curve. Make sure we line up the right way in the middle. Okay, oops. So we're going to make our line go this way, right over to that line. I'm going to turn it this way because it'll be easier for me to do it. And here's the middle line that's straight. Here's the outside border line that's straight. And I got these 2 lines in the middle that I want to connect. So I'm very lightly, for my first line, going to come from this side. And I'm coming from this side. So I want them to meet in the middle here. But I want them to curve a little bit. I want to make sure it looks like a smiley face a little bit. So get a little bit of a curve in there. We want our line to look like it's happy and it's smiling. So press lightly till you get it lined up. Then you can come put your line in. My line's going to go just like this, right down here to this other point. Is it starting to look like a beach ball? Okay, and then I got 1 more line to connect here. So I'm lightly with my pencil gonna put my smiley face in here. Come from this point to the middle, come from this point to the middle. Make sure they meet up there, and I can put it in a little darker. Okay, so we already start looking like our paper got some big ball underneath it, don't we? How are you guys doing with your lines? Are you getting some lines on there? Are they getting to be a total jumble mess? Give me some thumbs up if we're starting to look like we have a checkerboard ball underneath our tablecloth. Is it starting to look right? Did you get your curves in there? Good thing we had Mr. Joey here today, or I would have had my curves in all the wrong places. Sometimes it takes lots of eyeballs to figure out what looks best on a drawing. Art is fun. You can really have it look however you want. But sometimes if you have a thought in mind of how you want it to look, it helps to have lots of eyeballs. How are you doing? Did I get some thumbs up? We got some lines? Okay. We're going to give everybody just a minute or 2 to catch up with their lines. That's all we're going to need. Well, we're going to use our pencil again to do a little shading. But right now we can put our pencil aside and we're going to use our Sharpie. You might want your ruler out again to help draw these straight lines out here, or we can just trace over our pencil. So we're going to get our nice sharp point Sharpie out. And once everybody's got all their pencil lines on here, I'm going to show you a trick. It really helps when you're doing checkerboards. We're going to trace over all these lines first, except this is really, 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 really important. Okay, got it? We're going to go over all these pencil lines with our Sharpie, except for the circle. The circle line that we made with our pencil around your cereal bowl or your plate or your Tupperware, we're not going, the curved circle line, we're not going to draw with our Sharpie. Okay? So keep that in mind. Don't put Sharpie on the curved circle line. Okay? We're going to put Sharpie on all these other lines. We're going to put Sharpie on these curves that we drew inside the circle. We're just not going to outline the circle with our Sharpie. Okay? Everybody pretty much ready? You want to see what it's going to look like? And remember, you can go back and watch this later if you want to just watch how I finish it out. I'm going to use my ruler because it's a little easier for me to trace over these lines with a straight edge. So I'm going to start by putting all my little lines I'm going to trace over these pencil lines on the outside. And put my pencil, trace over this pencil line right here. And this one, can you get my water, please? Excuse me. And trace over this line right here. Okay. Then I got this line that runs right on the outside of my circle. Remember how we made these little lines that went right on the edge of the circle here? So I'm going to put those on next. It's really easy to do this if you just keep turning your paper. Makes it a little bit easier. Okay. So we're going to keep going over all those lines. Excuse me. Okay. Getting all these lines, I'm going to get this other one that goes right on the edge of the circle here. And then I've got all these lines. Goodness, Miss Ginny hadn't talked enough this morning. I've got all these lines, remember, that bumped into my circle and jumped over the circle. So I'm going to use my little straight edge here to do those. When I bump into the circle, I'm going to jump over the circle. Got another one here. I bump into the circle and jump over the circle.
That one's the straight one.
I know, that one's the straight one. We really could have just drawn it through, but I think it will help you if you think of bump into the circle, jump over the circle. Here's one more that's going to bump into the circle and jump over the circle. Bump into the circle, jump over the circle. Got them all going that way. Let's turn it this way. Put your straight edge down there and bump into the circle, jump over the circle. Come down to this next one. Bump into the circle, jump over the circle. Here we go. Bump into the circle, jump over the circle. Still got another one to go here. Line it up. Bump into the circle, jump over the circle. And here's the last one that is on this outside flat tablecloth. Bump into the circle and jump over the circle. Now that just leaves us with the lines inside. Remember, we're not going to draw the circle itself. Okay? So I can do my first line in the middle. It's actually the straight line. Remember when we made a straight line in our circle? And this one's a straight line too. So those are easy. And now we're going to go over those curved lines we made. Remember the curved lines? You got them on with your pencil where you liked them. So we're going to very carefully go from this point with our curved line, and we're going to come right down to where it meets this other point. Try to make sure that your curved lines we put on go right from this point that bumped into the circle. Go on your curve there and right down. We want it to meet where this line bumped into the outside of the circle. Okay. So down like this, curve right around to meet this other point. Go right from that point, right down to meet that point. Then I'm going to turn it. I'm going to do mine on the other side. Curve that line. Remember, I'm coming down to meet this point, so I want my Sharpie to meet that point. Boom. You want your Sharpie to go right from where that line bumped into the circle. Curve around. I'm not drawing very good lines here, Mr. Joey. But I'm going to bump and meet that circle point right there. But turn it around and do these other two. And that's all our Sharpie lines. And we're going to color with our Sharpie. Going to go from that point up there, and I'm going to come right down here to this point. Now you can tell my lines didn't go exactly where I wanted them, but that's okay. What I'm going to do to make it really easy to color in our squares, this is what I do if I want to try not to make mistakes. I'm going to start and I'm going to put little squigglies where I want to color the boxes. You know how when you color a checkerboard, you go every other box, and the next line goes the opposite every other box. And when I start coloring in checkerboards, I always get my every others mixed up. So don't worry if you do, we'll just have a fun drawing. But sometimes I'll put a squiggle line where I want to color. And then when I start going, I don't get out of order. So I'm going to start right here in the middle. You know how the middle of our circle divided into quarters? So I'm going to just pick one. I'm going to start right here. This is going to be a square I color in. So to make sure that I can pay attention, because sometimes I get distracted, if I color this square, I'm going to leave that one blank, right? And I'm going to color in this one. I'm just going to do the squares inside my circle first. Okay, so then this is blank, and I'm to the outside of my circle. Okay, so on this side, that one will be blank, and this one will be colored. Now, our checkerboard has actually bumped into our circle and skewed out of shape and kept going on this side. So you can see my box here. This is my box I'm going to leave blank because I'm going to color this one. So if I color this one's blank, so this is the next one I color. Pretend that that circle pencil line is not there. Okay, so this is all one weird shaped little square there. So if this is colored, that one's going to be blank, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next row. This one's colored, so I know that one's going to be blank. So that means that one's going to be colored. Colored, blank. I'm going to color in this one. Leave that one blank. So that means this one is going to be colored in. That means that one will be blank. So if I go to the next one, if this one's blank, this one's going to be colored in. See, you'll get it. That one will be blank. This one will be colored in. That one will be blank. This one will be colored in. That one will be blank. And this one will be colored in. Oops, yeah, Mr. Joey pointed out if we go up this row here, or this row, blank, colored in, blank, colored in, blank, colored in, blank, aha, colored in. We forgot that one. Okay, so if we move over to this row, what do we start with? This one's blank, so this one's colored in, blank, colored in, blank, colored in, blank, colored in. We can do the same thing going this way. This one's colored in, so that one's blank, which means this one will be colored in. That means that one's blank. Colored in, blank, colored in, blank, colored in. Go to the next row here. This one's colored, so that one's blank. Colored in, blank, colored in, blank, colored in. Going over here, this one's colored, so that one's blank. So the next one's going to be colored in, blank, colored in, blank, colored in, blank, and colored in. Now we only have one row left. Think we can do it? Colored in, so that's going to be blank, colored in, blank, colored in, blank, colored in, blank, colored in. Did we get it? I think we got it. Okay, now what we got to do is color in all these spaces. And since that might take a while, what I'm going to show you is what to do. Once all your little squares are colored in, I want to give you a hint. These squares that go from the round ball onto the flat tablecloth, remember how we've got these squares that kind of get skewed out of shape because it comes across straight and then it starts curving up on our basketball? So when you color in a square like this, you want to follow those Sharpie lines you did. So a square like this is going to get colored in on this flat part of my nice square here like this. So here's my nice flat part of the square. But then it's going to curve up like this. Okay? So you want to be careful when you hit squares that curve up onto the basketball. We're going to get a little weird. See how my square got kind of squished out of shape when it went on? So you want to make sure when you get out here to these squares that are colored in out at the edge of my basketballs, follow your Sharpie lines, because part of this square is going to get a curved side to it, and then part of it's following my Sharpie line right there. Okay? So as you go around and color in your squares, you'll want to be careful if we've got squares that are out here at the edges to follow those Sharpie lines that you just went over. And that helps create our optical illusion. That helps make this into op art. So you're going to take some time to color in all these squares. Once you color in all your squares, the squares that we left blank that get this weird shape, just leave them like that. We're not going to color in here. Remember, this is a blank square. We're not going to go over that pencil line, because what's going to happen when you get all the black and white done, it's going to look like you got a basketball just because we made these curved lines. But we're going to even emphasize it more. Once they're all colored, we're going to emphasize it even more, because we're going to put a shadow on one side of the ball. We're going to pretend this basketball is sitting on the table. So if the sun was shining down like this, it's going to cast a shadow on this side of the table. So we're going to come around with our pencil, and we're going to make that pencil line a little darker where we did it. We're going to put a little shadow on the top of the basketball here, just because it's curved down a little bit. But on this bottom here, we're going to put some shadow up about this high. See how my pencil, I pressed harder at the outside edge here. And then loosen the grip on your pencil and press lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. So I've got a shadow that comes, it's in a curved line like this, my shadow is. It gets a little darker as it gets to the edge, but you want a shadow to come almost to the middle, about a third of the way across in a curve like this. But you want to hold your pencil really, 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 really lightly as you get towards the middle here. So we're putting very, very light pencil lines as we get to the middle. You can hardly see my pencil lines, right? Then you can see them a little more as it gets to the edge. And then here's what we want to do. on just one side of it, on the outside of our circle, we're going to press really, really hard with our pencil. And we're going to get some really, really dark shadow right underneath where the basketball is sitting on the table. So we want to press really hard with the pencil on the outside of the circle here, almost all the way around one side of it. And then we're going to get lighter as it goes out. So let the pencil line, don't press so hard as you get, and you can go all the way out to the edge of your tablecloth here. And as we get close, the closer you get, press lightly out here. Closer you get to the edge of the circle, you want to press really hard with your pencil and get a really dark shadow under there. So it's going to look like our ball has cast a shadow. So you want a little bit of light pencil all the way around it. Little bit of darker pencil coming in the middle of the ball. Make sure you curve your lines when you shade. And then you can take your white pencil or your white oil pastel, or if you've got a piece of white chalk. And if the sun was shining down on our basketball like this, basketballs have kind of, or beach balls, any kind of ball, it's going to have kind of a slick surface to it. So when the light's shining down on it, it's going to make a little bright reflection here. So think of giving yourself, press a little light, and we're giving kind of a messy little circle right up here. This was the middle of my beach ball here. So right in one of the corners, kind of in one of the corners here. We want to lightly press with the white pencil, kind of make like a circle shape. Let it go partly over some of your black squares here, but not all the way. We don't have to draw it on the white square because the white square is already white. So then we can come back and press even harder with our white pencil, kind of in the middle of that circle you just made. If you're using an oil pastel, this will be really easy because you'll get really bright white. So keep the brightest white right near the center of your square, around the edges of one of your white squares, and then don't press quite so hard with the oil pastel. You could even use your finger and blend that oil pastel out into a circle shape. Same with chalk. If you're using chalk, you can blend out the edges of your circle. Okay? So that's how we're going to make a highlight. That's how we're going to add some shadow to our basketball. And I'm going to keep working on mine because I'm hoping this one turns out better than this one. I didn't like that one too much. So you keep working on yours. And then post some pictures so we can see how our op art turned out. I want to see if we look like we have basketballs underneath our tablecloth here. So I want to see how yours turn out. I think with Mr. Joey's help, my new one's going to turn out better than my old one here. I think I'm going to like my new one better. Mr. Joey had some good ideas of what I needed to do. So be sure and take some pictures. Tag us with the little @ at Idea Studio. Take some pictures, post them. See if we get some optical illusions floating around up there. And don't forget to tag us.
Brain fart.
Some days Miss Ginny just can't think of what she's talking about. Take some pictures so I can see your op art. I hope yours turn out better than mine. I know they will. I had some amazing op art that first week. They looked like cones, remember? Like sugar cones from an ice cream cone, all pointing to the center. And they looked really round. So I know you guys do a great job doing this. Be sure and have your adults check out our website. We've got a painting party posted for this Thursday. Is today Wednesday? Today's Wednesday. Tomorrow night we are doing a painting party. We're going to paint this gorgeous sunset with giraffes. And when you register to do this painting party, you get a template that you print out. So you get to trace the giraffes. So you don't even have to draw on this. And see how cool this tree is? You don't have to paint to make the tree look that cool. I'll give you a really, really fun, goofy way to make trees that look like this. So go on our website. It's only $15 to paint this painting with us. The website gives you options if you want to pick up supplies from us, or you might have supplies at home. So go on, sign up to do our painting party. You get to make this gorgeous sunset with giraffes, and giraffes are Miss Ginny's favorite animal. Lydia and Patrick know that. I still use my mug with my giraffes on it that they brought me at Christmas time. So sign up for some painting parties, have some fun. Grown-ups get to have fun too. And take some pictures of your op art and post them so I can see them. I want to see how optical illusion worked for you with our Sharpies and our pencils and our white colored pencils or oil pastels or chalk. And we will see you tomorrow. Bye.